Hey buddy, Megaro31 back here for FSI DFS. We are going to break down the 12 game slate for Tuesday, September 28th. Appreciate you guys still watching these baseball videos. McKinley and I will cover the next 4 days and then take the weekend off just because we understand you guys are watching college football and doing NFL and things like that. Then we'll try to do a joint one for the playoffs, but just appreciate everybody watching this whole season and still continuing to watch now. So we'll just try to help you through these final slates and make some money. High scoring games yesterday, and I think we'll see that more and more as teams don't care anymore. They're trying pitchers out there, and there might be some traps too, where some pitchers are out there just a little bit just to stay fresh, but everybody's looking towards the playoff as things towards the end of the week start to wind down and people start to clench. But we do have some compelling races out there, so let's look at the games. First one's Baltimore and Boston. It's in Baltimore. There might be a little bit of rain in this one, but it looks like it's going to end early enough for them to get the game in. Chris Sale, Bruce Zimmerman. Chris Sale, he's in a great matchup here. Orioles have some strikeouts. It's just question is how far is he going to go in the game? It is important. They do need to win this game to stay in pace with the rest of the teams fighting for the wild card. 9-4 is not a bad price, so I think he's an okay play today for pitcher, and you're going to find that there's a lot of good choices, so we'll just keep him on the back burner. Red Sox, I think, are going to be like our third favorite stack, and probably the favorite stack outside of Coors Field. They almost have 6 total against Zimmerman here, so I love all the righties, and even the lefties are in play also. Baltimore bats, not interested at all. New York Yankees and Toronto Blue Jays, Tyon and Ryu, not interested in either pitcher here. Ryu's just coming back from the IL. Yankees are pretty cheaply priced, so I think like out of the cash stacks, if you're not playing in Coors, they'd be my second favorite behind Boston because they have a lot to play for here. Toronto are just way too expensive. GPP, I'm fine if you're playing them or if you're trying to try to home run hunt against Tyon. But other than that, not I don't think that they're cash viable, and I think it's GPP only, but you're going to really have to sacrifice pitching, and I think you want to pay up today. Philly and Atlanta, another key game here for the AL East. Zach Wheeler and Charlie Morton. I think this is going to be a pitcher battle. Love both pitchers here. Wheeler's had a great season. Morton is also struggled early, turned around, has some strikeouts, so not playing any bats here. Both pitchers, I think, are in play. Probably would favor Morton just because of the discount you have, but I can't say that Zach Wheeler is a bad play at all. Next up, we have Detroit and Minnesota. We go from all these playoff games to a game that really doesn't matter. You have Tyler Alexander and Luke Farrell. I would skip both pitchers here. I think both teams, if you want to stack in a GPP, work very well. Detroit, a little bit more pricey than I'd like. Same thing with the Twins, but they get cheaper as you go down in the lineup. So, if you're playing 20 max, so this might be a game to stack. But other than that, not super interested. I wouldn't play in cash. It's cooler temperatures. No, actually 74 is not bad. I saw the humidity at 57. I was like, wow, that's cold. But no, 74 degrees, wind blowing in a little bit. So again, GPP only for that. Moving on, Milwaukee Brewers, St. Louis Cardinals. We have Brandon Woodruff and Adam Wainwright. Woodruff, I think he's okay in cash, but he'd be my fourth favorite pitcher. I don't know with the pitch count how far he's going to go here. They have a good bullpen. I know St. Louis has won all these games in a row, are super, super hot. Don't think that really factors into it too much. I just think could he go out there and do what he needs to in his time, but St. Louis really doesn't strike out that much. So I'm really not interested in Woodruff, but if you do want to play him in cash because of the potential he has, and I think he's to be my fourth favorite, I just take Wheeler, Morton, or Sale over him. Wainwright, I think, is a medium range play, but there's about 3 other guys that I would take above him. Not playing any bats in this game. Not even for leverage play. I think it's going to be a great pitcher duel like Philly and Atlanta is going to be. Los Angeles Angels, Texas Rangers. Packy Naughton against AJ Alexy. Really like Alexy here. I think he's going to be my SP2, my favorite pay down option at 6-3. Started out, had 2 really good games, ran into some really good teams. But I think here's a great turnaround point against these Angels. Only person that really scares me in the lineup is Ohtani. The rest of it is not very good. On the other side of the ball, Texas bats, I think they are my favorite cheap stack. of the day. You're not really, I think their highest price guy is 45, and it's Garcia, righty, against Naughton. So I really wouldn't worry about this. Texas bullpen's horrible. So, if you want to take Lowe or like any lefties, but I think they're going to throw a really heavy righty lineup here. And I think they're a nice cheap stack for a GPP to throw in there, especially if you want to pay up for like 2 pitchers, throw a Texas stack, take a couple one-offs for the rest of year that are in good situations. And then there you go. Cleveland and Kansas City, Sive and Singer. Sive, not too high of a strikeout pitcher, and Kansas City does have some Ks, but that just not on the slate for him. Singer, I think, would be probably my third favorite mid-range pitcher. 2 other guys coming up, I think, are better than him. And then the bats, not really interested in anything here. 12 game slate, I'd rather take those Coors or Yankees or Red Sox trying to make the playoffs. Cincinnati Reds, who put up 13 runs yesterday and against the Chicago White Sox. O'Brien making his major league debut. I think he's risky, but I think his numbers in AAA look really, really good, especially if the White Sox throw out a watered down lineup because they've already clinched, and I don't think they have too much more to play for. So Lopez on the other side is not really good. So I think both these teams would be my favorite GPP stacks of the day. I would probably favor the White Sox up against the rookie, but then how bad Lopez has been and how hot Cincinnati has been, I think, they're definitely someone to look at. Just watch, make sure you actually have if you're going to stack them, that they have their A teams in there and that they're not watered down versions either. Tampa Bay, Houston Astros. Tampa needs to win, I think, 1 or 2 games to lock up home field advantage. Houston, definitely is in the playoffs and wants to stay sharp here. So Walker at 6'6" is a trap. I wouldn't play him. Probably not going to go very far. Bullpen's going to come in. Quiddy on the other side, not super interested in him at all. Tampa Bay doesn't strike out that much. Bat-wise, I think there's so many other options. You're only looking at totals in the 4 here. Both pitchers are okay. Like I said, Houston probably has a bigger advantage against Waka. I'd go with the righties here because he's a reverse switch pitcher guy, splits pitcher guy, but Tampa bullpen's good. So I don't think that I really like Houston much. I'd rather take some of these other stacks we talked about: Toronto, Chicago White Sox, Cincinnati, if I'm stacking a higher price team. Now we come to course. Washington Nationals, Colorado Rockies, 2 rubber-armed lefties, Corbin and Freeland. Do not play them. They're probably the worst pitchers on the slate. So love this game. Going to stack this game in cash. Colorado, the pricing is way too low. Hampton leading off probably a 2.8. Story at 4.6. I think there's 8 shortstops ahead of him. I don't understand why. This is a place where Story should be 6K. Blackman at 4.5. I don't know if I like him a lefty matchup there, but Cron at 3.6, completely underpriced. Diaz as a catcher, batting 5th, at 3.6. So some of the guys in the bottom line, I don't know if I'd play to get a full stack in. There's really not a second baseman in the lineup unless something changes for the projected one, and Welker at 3rd. So might be hard to get. And McMahon, maybe I probably could take him lefty and lefty because I don't think Corbin's going to go that long, and Washington bullpen isn't super exciting. On the other side, Thomas leading off at 4-1 is good. Escobar, I mean, I don't think you're going to play him unless you're full stacking Washington. You'd rather take Story, and you're actually going to save money there because $600 because Escobar's mispriced at 5.2. It's way too high. Soto, lefty, it's okay. But if you're game stacking this, I'd probably drop him there, but no problem playing him. Colorado bullpen's bad, and Soto's fine. Bell, probably play him in outfield. I probably, if I'm stacking the game, would take Cron at first base. Ruiz has been, as a catcher, has some astounding numbers. Look at his box score; it's been crazy recently, hot. So and see, I might actually pay up for catcher and use him. And some of the guys at the bottom of the line, we'll just have to see how that works out. Next, Arizona and San Francisco. Luke Weaver, Logan Webb. Weaver's price is okay. I think he's a dart in a GPP, but I think, so many other better options go like Singer, Alexi, O'Brien. You have better, cheaper pitchers out there. Webb, I think, would be my second favorite guy in the 8K range here. They're actually in the low 9.5, because the favorite guy in the mid range to come up is going to be Walker Buehler at 9.1. But Webb, I think, definitely struggled a little bit, but Arizona's not a huge strikeout team, but I think there's definitely, he can get 15 to 18, maybe up to 20 DK points here. Bat wise, not interested in Arizona at all. San Francisco, they lost Belt, feel bad. Having a great season there. Hopefully his hand is healed. I think he's fractured, so that's usually 6 weeks. Hopefully he can come back sometime in the playoffs, but he might be done for the season unless they make the World Series. But definitely, I think San Francisco makes for a cheap stack here, usually with some of the pieces against Weaver with the lefties they can throw out there, but don't think they're a priority here tonight. Next up, we have Oakland and Seattle, and Seattle put up a ton of runs last night. Bassett's a little bit better pitcher than Irving was, so I don't think I see that output again. Actually, I don't think either pitcher here, Bassett, Justice, Sheffield. Oakland might make a good cheap stack. Marte might not be in the lineup. I think he's a little banged up. Olsen, lefty on lefty. If you skip over that, like start with Harrison leading off, there's a lot of cheap righties here. Gomes 3.7, Pinder 2.4, Kana 4.4. So you might be able to make a nice Oakland late night hammer stack in a GPP here against a lefty. And then finally, San Diego Padres and the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think when they made the schedule, they thought this was going to be a great series, but the Padres have completely faded. Dodgers are still fighting San Francisco for the West and home field and best record in baseball. Just absolutely crazy season for both of them. So Walker Buehler, definitely like here. I think he'd be my favorite mid-range pitcher. And if you want the Dodgers, just stack them. So quickly, let me just pull up DK here. Okay, so here we have DK. Like I said, I think I'm going to go and I'm going to put Alexi in as my first pitcher. And then usually for SP2, I'm just going to see after I get my stack what I like, what is left. So I'm going to go right to the Coors game, Colorado. And like I said, first guy in the lineup is going to be Trevor Story. Great price there. First base, definitely Cron, super underpriced here, righty lefty matchup. Zimmer does make sense too. So if you want to go with him to be a little bit different, if you have the money, I'm definitely fine with that. Catcher, I'm actually going to pay off for Ruiz. I think he's going to continue to have a good game. So then Thomas for outfield, definitely Connor Joe might be back off the aisle. So that's somebody to watch also there. You have to see what the lineup is when it comes out. But for outfield here, I think Tapia could possibly make sense. But I think, Hampson leading off is where I want to go here. Tapia would be a lefty and lefty, and then I'm going to take Bell. So then for pitcher, if I go all the way up to Wheeler, probably like Morton better for the savings. I mean, that still gives you 4K per player. So and you could finish off if you find some two guys from Coors here, or that gives you some really nice bats. I mean, like I said, like Boston, you could throw Devers in there and then find a second baseman that works out. If you drop down to any other pitcher, then that works too. Then maybe if you wanted to be a little bit different than everybody else, you can move Cron off, stack Colorado straight, stack Washington straight. Just don't do a game stack here. Go with Boston, go with the Yankees. Then, like says GPP, I think Alexi's gonna be the key. If you don't trust him, then with 4K here, if you wanted to stack that game and throw in Morton, then still with the core stack, you still have 26. You can find some good value plays to fill this in. So lots of cool places to go tonight. It's a good slate, but like I said, stick towards the situations where the games still matter. In GPPs, play the games where you have questionable pitchers that you've never heard of before, and they might be high scoring games, and you might be able to get some cheap bats in that go off and then pay out for both pitchers. So thanks for watching. I'm MyGruler31. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. If you hit me up on Twitter at MyGruler31. Give us a like, subscribe to our channel, check out all the other great things that FSI Fantasy Sports is bringing you for absolutely free. And I appreciate you watching again, and we'll see you next time.